Washington, my sister was sitting on my grandmother's back porch and she was shot innocently in a drive-by shooting. In addition to that, about 2 weeks ago, one of my friend's brother was shot and killed in a drive-by shooting in Texas. And 2 years ago, my brother-in-law was working as a security officer in an apartment complex. He was called to a noise complaint, and he was then jumped by gang members and put in the hospital. He had to have surgery, and he was suffering from PTSD. In addition to that, my sister, when she was shot, her 3-year-old son was watching, and now he is also having issues because of witnessing his mother being shot. Luckily, my sister's okay today. Today in our country, there's way too much gang violence. It's hard to understand why we're combating violence in other countries when there's so much violence within our own country. I believe that people in America, communities in America, need to stand up and do more about the gang violence in our countries. There are 30,000 gangs with approximately 800,000 members in 2,500 different communities throughout the United States, according to DoSomething.org. Today, I'm going to tell you how community awareness, increased security and intervention, and neighborhood watch programs will help to eliminate the gang violence problem that we have in our country today. First, I will talk about community awareness. Those who are affected by gang violence are affected in many ways. The property taxes in their neighborhoods go down, there's vandalism, and there's innocent injuries and deaths due to the drive-by shootings like I mentioned earlier. So, we need to take a stand and educate people on where they can get tools to help combat gang violence. And we need to start educating children on why they should, how they can get involved in other things so that their life doesn't head in the direction of joining a gang once they get older. There are many websites available that have things for community, that have information about awareness for gangs. DoSomething.org and the Community-Oriented Police Service have some tools to help inform people about gang violence. Next we'll talk about increased security and special gang units. By offering more security in these areas, gangs will be more deterred from actually having gang activity and doing illegal activity in these areas. If we train people, especially to intervene in these areas, they can set up programs for children to join different clubs to deter them from joining gangs. They can find out who the key gang leaders are because if we find out who the key gang leaders are, and we take them out, then hopefully the gangs will actually fall apart. These people who intervene can also set up programs for people to anonymously give gang information so that we can use that information to help stop the gangs as well. Right. Also, there needs to be more actual patrols besides just people doing intervention work. These patrols need to consist of not just one person in a patrol car. They need to be partner patrols, because one person alone really can't do a lot, especially if there's no backup. So if we have patrols with 2 people in a vehicle, then it will do more to actually deter these gang members from conducting their violence in these areas. Because you never know what 2 people together can do. One person and 10 gang members, it's just not as scary, Recently, LA has laid off about 3,000 workers, according to the LA Times. A quarter of those people have been police officers in LA. In Grand Rapids, Michigan, recently, 44 police officers have lost their job because of budget cuts. I don't agree with this. I think we need a lot more police officers, especially in places like LA and Grand Rapids, Michigan. Grand Rapids, Michigan is where my brother-in-law was jumped. And the reason he was jumped while he was on his security mission was because he could not get backup. So I think that we need to talk to our legislators, congressmen, about more funding for things such as police officers, because they're so important, they're so vital. Last, I want to talk about neighborhood watch programs. With neighborhood watch programs, citizens can feel like they're getting their land back. their neighborhoods back. Basically, the neighborhood watch programs, they will set up to, take turns watching things throughout the night. It doesn't mean that they're actually going to have to go out and do something to those gang members, but if we keep surveillance of where they're doing most of their activities through citizens and not police officers, then the police officer will actually know where they need to operate in order to start deterring more of that gang violence. And also, in these neighborhood watch, there could be maybe one actual law enforcement person assigned to each neighborhood to keep in contact and communication with these neighborhood watch programs in order to make them work more effectively. Alright. So in conclusion, we've talked about how community awareness, security intervention, and neighborhood watch can help to deter gang violence. It's up to us as American citizens to contact our legislators, our congressmen, and our other important community leaders in order to tell them our opinion. Why should we let other people innocently get harmed and innocently die from this gang violence? We're spending a lot of time and energy in other countries combating gang violence. And yes, I'm not saying that that's wrong, that we're in other countries, but I really think it is our job as Americans to step up and start combating this gang violence in America before it takes over our communities and our country becomes like those third world countries. I've been overseas and I've seen how the gangs operate over there and the militias operate over there. They have complete control of communities, of businesses, they have complete control of schools, everything. And if we do not take a stand and start combating the gang violence in America, then I see this being the future in some of the communities in America. So please, do what you can. Contact your senator, contact your community leaders, and give them your opinion that we need to start putting more funding into combating gang violence.